How's it going, everybody? I'm your host, the Carolina Collector. Before I begin, I want to say thank you so much to each and every single one of you for helping to make this channel possible. I really appreciate it. If you like what you see and you enjoy the content, I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe, smash that like button, comment in the comments section below, and hit the bell to receive notifications. I do have an eBay store called the Carolina Collector 001. The link is in the description box of every video and short that I upload here on YouTube. So let's get right to it. This jersey. We'll get into that in a little bit. As you all know, if you've been watching the channel, I'm a New York Yankees fan, New York Mets fan, New York Giants fan who had their asses handed to them last night. They were up 19-0, and then they blew it at the end of the game. That'll be maybe another video for another time. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm still in denial for what happened last night with the New York Giants. Anyway, I'm also a Bayern Munich fan. And I'm actually wearing one of their rare retro jerseys. This is a Commodore jersey that they sold a long time ago. Now, the back on it was blank. I had a custom template made just for this jersey representing Lothar Matthäus, who was one of the great Bayern Munich players like Franz Beckenbauer, Gerd Müller, Uli Hoeneß, Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, Jürgen Klinsmann, the list goes on. Miroslav Klose eventually found his way over to Bayern Munich, Arjen Robben, Franck Ribéry, guys like that. So Bayern Munich has a wonderful, wonderful history and a wonderful player base to look upon. If you watch like old YouTube clips and stuff like that, you'll see Klaus Augenthaler and Dieter Hoeneß playing, and there's so many names I can rattle off the top of my head, but I think you get the point. I love retro Bayern jerseys because they do hold up against the test of time. Every single year, Bayern release a brand new kit. Back in the 80s, they went buck wild. And during some seasons, they actually had 4 or 5 different kits, which is insane. And they're still doing that to this day. You know, they just had their Oktoberfest jersey released. They have their home and away jersey. Then they got their Champions League jersey. Then, you know, they'll probably do another one-off jersey during the season sometime. I mean, they do all sorts of crazy stuff, Bayern Munich, with their kits. But they have one jersey in particular that the fans are now pissed off at because the traditional colors of Bayern are usually red and white, Rot-Weiß, red and white in German. This year, they do have a red and white jersey. The fans have been demanding for years that, as far as the home jersey is concerned, that they stick with the traditional colors of red and white, which they did this year. Now, last year, I happen to have, let's see here in my collection, and I have cut down on my collection, by the way, because there are just too many jerseys. They used a very, very deep black and red motif. So this was last year's jersey. I don't have this year's jersey because I'm kind of on the fence with it. There are only so many jerseys I'm going to buy because it's too expensive. And Bayern Munich's jerseys, sometimes they go really off the wall. I love their Champions League jerseys. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I have quite a few of them as well. So here, this is from when they won the Champions League back in 2020. As a matter of fact, that's a club exclusive. With the trophy, I barely wear this thing because I'm just afraid to screw this thing up because it's a one-off. And, I mean, I got Robert Lewandowski's Champions League jersey from that same Champions League from the final. I have last year's Champions League jersey right here with Harry Kane on the back, and the list goes on. But I stopped buying a lot of jerseys because they're just too expensive. And they're very difficult to get. This is one of the more difficult ones I've got recently. This is their 125th anniversary jersey that I got from Bayern Munich's website. And it came blank in the back. And this was a one-off yet again. So I had to have a custom template made just for this kit. And I had to track down the proper Bundesliga patch just for this jersey. So I think I've established my point. I am very avid about my jerseys. I'm very particular about my jerseys. And I try to pay as little as possible for my kits. You know, sometimes jerseys like this come up on eBay. I just sold a retro jersey, as a matter of fact, which is very similar to this one. This is a 1970s, late 70s retro kit with Garrett Miller's number 9 on the back. Now, I had one I just sold for about $100. I was actually selling it for $109. I came down on my price because the customer, was looking to get a deal, so I lowered my price a little bit and it sold. So I'm keeping this one because it's a little bigger. But anyway, with all that being said, let's talk about this jersey. So this is the newest jersey that Bayern Munich has released, and this was released through attrition. And the reason why I say that is because the Bayern Munich fan base is so avid and so respectful of the club's history that they are demanding that they stop doing all this fancy stuff with their jerseys, with the fancy designs and all that crazy stuff, and stick to the basics. Now, as a New York Yankees fan, I'm sure many of you are New York Yankees fans, you see that they always wear pinstripes for their home jersey. They always wear the same gray jersey for their travel strip. And they don't have the City Connect jerseys like a lot of the other teams do. They stick to tradition. But a lot of people can get bored, and that's where I'm on the fence, because it all depends on the jersey and what kind of tournament and all that kind of stuff. So to me, if it looks good, I'll get it. If it looks too off the wall, like the jersey they released a couple of years ago where it was all white with the red sleeves, which is indicative of a traditional Bayern jersey they wore many, many years ago, the Bayern fans got pissed. And this year, they got just as pissed, which is why Adidas and Bayern released this, their Stadium Collection jersey. Now, this is not particular to any one season or 1 year in Bayern Munich's history. It's kind of like an amalgamation of their older jerseys. In particular, I actually have examples that I've already reviewed here on the channel, if I can dig them up quickly without wasting your time. Let's see here. Where are you? Okay, so this is the away strip from 74 through 76 with Franz Beckenbauer's number 5 on the back. And I should have, here's the home, this is the home version of that with Garrett Muller on the back. So this jersey here is an amalgamation of the jerseys that they probably and most likely would have worn during the 70s and potentially during the 80s. Bayern Munich are one of those clubs that's constantly switching jerseys. So let's take a look at the jersey. I still got the tag on it. It's true to size. It's not oversized like they did with the 1990 Germany retro strip, which I think I have in my collection here somewhere. I'm just going to dig around here quickly. Forgive me for searching around. Like this one I had to have tailored. This is actually a size large, but it fits like an extra large. But this thing runs big. And if anybody bought this jersey when they released them, they were like huge for whatever bizarre reason. I don't know why Adidas did that. But these are actually true to size. So you got the tags on the inside like this here. You've got the Adidas hang tag. I'll give you a close-up of that. As a matter of fact, why not? So there you have it. There are the two tags on the inside, and that's the sales tag right there. FCB Stadium T. That's what you should see on there. You have a stitched-on trefoil with the crest on the other side here. And again, it's very simple, very basic. You have the care tag here on the inside. I'll tell you how to take care of this. I hand wash all my jerseys anyway, so this is nothing new in here. And on the back, you have the Bayern Munich marquee on the back, and it's blank. And here's where my problem comes in with this particular jersey. I'm very upset at a certain orange man. As you know, I am a Trump supporter, and I'm just going to show an example of one of my many MAGA hats that I've reviewed here on the channel. This is an instance where I'm kind of disappointed and upset at President Trump. I don't want to call him Mr. Leftist, do that. But I'm upset at President Trump because of the tariffs. This jersey, if I recall, is approximately $48 American dollars in Germany plus shipping. So this jersey should not have ran me any more than $70 to get here. That's usually what it is with taxes, fees, etc. However, being that they just released this jersey in Germany on Bayern Munich's home website, I'm sure Adidas will have this on their websites and other soccer shops may have this on their websites. But usually when they do jerseys like this, it's very exclusive to them. There was a $23 tariff on this jersey. Now, I've done reviews of Missing Link Transformers. I just reviewed Missing Link RC recently. I've reviewed Missing Link Optimus Prime. I have both versions of them, by the way. I've done Missing Link, Sunstreaker, Bumblebee, and Cliff Jumper. And thank God I got in on those when I did, because there are now tariffs attached to them, I'm sure, as well. Unless, companies here in the United States already have them in stock that you don't have to pay the tariffs. But some way there's going to be a tariff attached to everything coming into this country. This is the first time I've had to pay for anything with a tariff attached to it. And I'm kind of pissed. I love what Trump is doing, but there's certain things that I have to question, and this is one of them. Where now us American citizens are having to pay, extra fees and taxes and all that kind of stuff just to get stuff like this imported to this country. And Germany, unfortunately, are part of that whole nonsense that's going over there with the European Union. We all know they're all globalists over there. There are some countries that are trying to resist, but Germany, unfortunately, is part of that mess. And as a result, Trump has been trying to get them to come down on their prices with things and making deals with them and trying to stop them from importing Russian oil into Germany and all this kind of weird stuff. But unfortunately, we as Americans are now paying the price. I'm so angry that I paid $23 more to get this imported here. I believe it was $23 or something like that. But a $70-something jersey turned into a $90-something dollar jersey. I mean, I'm pissed. I can't even find words. I'm stumbling over myself, and I normally don't script my videos. But this is something that really has me furious. I've never paid more than what I should for anything. Obviously, as time progresses, for example, I happen to have some of my sports cards here. As time goes on and things are in high demand, prices will appreciate. For example, there's my Ken Griffey Jr. rookie, which I just found out is now selling anywhere between $4,200 to $4,800. Oh my goodness. That also goes for my Shohei Ohtani batting rookie from Bowman. This thing is now going for almost $1,800 now in some cases. My God. Yikes. But with that being said, I don't like paying up front for anything. Let things appreciate. Let things take time to see if they have value. Just like with those baseball cards. Why do you think what happened with Cool Kicks recently? I'm a sneakerhead. I'm not like a traditional sneakerhead. I wear all my shoes. But look what happened with Cool Kicks recently. Because they're flipping shoes and flipping shoes and flipping shoes, and they got busted. And that's why sneaker culture died, because people are getting like me. I want these at retail. If they were sitting around for 6 months, 8 months, and there was a demand on them, fine, I'll pay a little extra. But as soon as the thing comes out, they're immediately flipped. Or the price is 2x immediately by some dumbass that's flipping things on eBay or whatnot or what have you. And we lose out. And this is another case of that, but this is done by the government. An American citizen forced to pay extra money for an import that we shouldn't have to pay extra for. Yeah, I get why Trump has placed these tariffs on these nations' heads, but this sucks. It's a beautiful kit, and I'm lucky I have it. But to see me getting charged a tariff for a jersey like this, it's awful. And here's the second part of this argument that really sucks. You see the template on my back for Lothar Matthäus, right? I have a couple examples of custom numbers that I've had put on jerseys. Now, this was an official release by Bayern Munich years ago. Again, another amalgamation of jerseys they've used in the past. The marquee was already on there, but I had to get the number 10. I wanted the number 10 on there in the old school triple line scheme that they used to have, or whatever they call this. I mean, it's a flocked material. And I got that from a guy in Europe that sells them, right? Oh, I actually have this one. I wore this yesterday, not yesterday, a couple days ago, as a matter of fact, off camera. But this is a long sleeve Adidas jersey, which is something that they actually wore on field. But what they did is they were slick, and they put the Bayern Munich marquee on there. Of course, I chemically peeled it, and I ordered for a number 5. So now it looks like Franz Beckenbauer's home jersey that he used to use in the Bundesliga. The same guy that makes my retro numbers and templates will not sell me a number for this jersey. Why? Because he's not exporting to the U.S. Because of the tariffs, because of the paperwork, and it's too expensive for him. Just like for me, it'd be way too expensive for me to ship out overseas. That's why I deal with the U.S. exclusively when it comes to my eBay store. He refuses to sell anything to anyone in the U.S. I was so disappointed in that, and I've been trying to communicate with him so I can get a number 9 for Garrett Miller for this jersey, but he just refuses to ship outside of the UK. Can you blame him? It's awful what's happening with these tariffs. Again, I voted for the Great Pumpkin sitting in the White House there, but unfortunately, as long as these tariffs are in place, we're all gonna be paying extra until everybody, gets their heads out of their asses in Europe and gets on the same page with us. So until Adidas has a manufacturing company here in the U.S., this one was made in Turkey, by the way. This is how it is, folks, so be prepared to pay extra. It's a beautiful jersey. It's a wonderful amalgamation of all the jerseys that they wore back in the 70s and 80s, but you're going to end up paying more. So buyer beware. Otherwise, I got nothing bad to say about it, except that you're gonna pay. With that being said, everybody, I'm your host, the Carolina Collector. Take care, everybody, and just watch your money and watch where you're spending your money, unfortunately. These days, it's just out of control. Take care, everyone.